So I knew something else was going on. It wasn't just macronutrients and it wasn't just exercise. So those two things weren't working. So I became a nutritional therapist, and you know, about 80% of our diseases, our chronic lifestyle diseases, are caused by stress or inflammation in the body. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight, is inflammation in the body, and let you know that you still have power over that. This, you know, that is not necessarily a genetic component, right? That's a lifestyle stress. You, as much as you cause inflammation or something causes inflammation to you, you also have the power and the ability to reduce it. So on we go. All right. So this is what I love this saying. It says, by doubting, we are led to question. And by questioning, we arrive at the truth. And my advice is always to actually be like a 5-year-old. And you go to the doctor. Well, why? Well, why? And just keep asking why. And if your doctor, if your MD can't get to the answer and tell you why without a short, curt, that's because, find another doctor. Okay? Find another doctor. Find a naturopathic doctor. You're going to have to pay out of pocket. It's worth it in the end. All right. So I don't know if you all can read this, but this talks about IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, which is a ton of complications on its own. Yeah.
That's okay, because I can't. You know what? Give me that chair.
Can you see a little bit? And irritable bowel is another one of those inflammatory markers. It is all that really is something for you to take note that something's wrong. Okay? All these things are little signs that something is wrong, and you got to get to the bottom of it. So let's talk about sugar. Let's talk about sugar. Sugar is in everything, right? Even vegetables have their own natural sugar. Okay? What I want to talk about is the processed foods that are rampant in our diets and the implications of what sugar has done to our U.S. healthcare dollars. And from the diabetes.org, the American Diabetes Association, who are supposed to be our experts on sugar and diabetes, 1 in 5 healthcare dollars are spent dealing with people with diabetes. All right, that is a ton of money. And today, just today, this is kind of an older slide, but just today, there's probably about 5,000 people being diagnosed with diabetes. 5,000 a day. Type 2. Type 2, yeah. Mostly. They don't have that delineated. 30 million Americans have diabetes. Now it's about 1 in 3. So you look around people in the room, or if you're in a group, you're bowling league, go to church, whatever. Look around. If it's not you, and hopefully it's not, the people around you have it, and it may be undiagnosed. They just don't even know what's going on right now. And it's costing the United States $322 billion a year. Now, type 2 diabetes, I'll just speak to that, is typically chronic, a lifestyle condition. And it may take years for that to happen. So if you think about this $322 billion a year, we're looking at people who've hit their 40s, 50s, and older. And what are they on, typically? This is what I say at the hospital. They're already on Medicare, Medicaid, right? So this is not just costing the government, this is costing all of us money. And eventually we're gonna end up being bankrupt because of that. So what happens when we eat sugar? Now, whether it's pure sugar, whether it's from wheat-based products, processed, eat it because you're hungry, maybe your blood sugar is low, and it causes the pancreas to release insulin and a substance called glucagon, right? And both of those things converge on your liver. What's that?
I want to expand.
So, right, so the glucose gets turned into glycogen and it's just kind of hanging out there. Now, the insulin will stimulate the uptake of that glucose and it goes to your muscles. And if you don't use it right away, this is where the weight gain occurs, right? And in our society, we eat a lot. So it's easy not to use the food that we're eating, especially in the quantities that we typically get it from. So no matter what you eat, even if it's a vegetable, you're through a series of biomechanical processes, turn anything into energy. So it'll convert it back into an energy source that will take your blood sugar back up again, right? You know, if it goes up too high, because you've compounded even more processed food or simple starches and whatnot in the body, then it's going to signal the pancreas to work again and drop that blood sugar. So we've got this little cycle of biochemical stuff going on. I don't know if that's more than you wanted to know about what actually happens. However, they are to the point where they're talking about looking at these beta cells in the pancreas, the beta cells, that looking at transplants. They're wanting to do cellular transplants on people in their pancreas. Versus, why not just not eat some of that stuff? Most doctors are like, no, go ahead, eat what you've been eating, just eat less quantities of it. And we really don't need these starches and processed fish. Our liver will take care of that just fine. So, just a quick review, right? So we're typical American, we have a desk job, we're not moving much, you know. Fitbits are great. I'm not sure how accurate they are. However, they're a great tool to just kind of keep track of what's been going on. My sister has a cool one that every hour, if she's been sitting too long, it'll buzz her just to make her get up and move. I think that's kind of cool. Mine doesn't do that. So if we're not expending energy, we have the typical desk job and whatnot. We're just eating, storing insulin, creating an overweight story, enlarging our fat cells, and then they become insulin resistant, and around we go until we develop type 2 diabetes. Now, type 2 diabetes is just another signal that there is inflammation in the body, right? Just like IBS. It's another signal that there is an inflammation going on in the body. So these are just two very, very small that are just a little right? And if you had a warning light going on in your car, ask your son, right? And I used to joke saying, oh, if my car made too much noise, I'd turn the stereo up louder. Now, eventually. And here's the deal, like with a car, if you catch it right away, it's not so expensive. if you wait till your stereo can no longer block out that noise, you've got to have to get a new car. So, new pancreas, or just stop eating some of this stuff and causing inflammation in the body. Alrighty. So here's some of the things that occur, not just with metabolic syndrome, which is a sign of inflammation. It's just inflammation in general. Over time, you're going to have heart disease, you're going to have lipid issues, hypertension, which is high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, we talked about that, dementia, right? It's inflammation going on, bless you, all the way up to your brain. Cancer, right? Cells are not happy and they're mutating. PCOS, have you guys ever heard of that? Yeah.
What is that?
It's polycystic ovarian syndrome.
Oh, okay. I just heard about that.
And typically what they'll do is just yank them out.
Your ovaries.
Yeah.
Different than a hysterectomy.
Yes. The hysterectomy is a uterus.
Yeah.
You can have a full-on hysterectomy, which takes the ovaries as well.
And then of course, then you're going to start, they'll want to get you on hormone replacement therapy, which is another inflammatory thing. So, and then non-alcoholic fatty liver disease from taxing your liver from this insulin glucagon cycle that just goes on and on and on. No rest, right? Yeah. So this is one of my favorite slides. Ready? No, ready? This is what happens. Think about this next time you go and eat something in a packet. Okay, once in a while, I have no problem with s'mores, right? I can't maybe, 4 times a year, 5 times a year if I'm lucky. Yeah, I'm gonna have a s'more. Heck yeah, you better believe it. However, if the other 99% of the time I'm not creating this inflammation in my body, I'm not gonna worry about this one incident.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is what happens when sugar meets heat.
But if you add like blueberries with
The antioxidants can help you out a little bit, yeah.
Thank you, Glenn.
Well, you're gonna need them, right? You're gonna need your antioxidants, however you get them. Alrighty. So let's look at some of the foods that can be causing this high blood sugar rise, inflammation in the body. Anything with glucose, including your fruits, cereals, carrots, honey. I know everybody loves their honey. Find a non-GMO honey, or I don't know how they control bees, right? How do you control a bee going from one pesticide-filled field to one that's not?
It's so, because of that, you won't find U.S. grown organic honey.
So you have to buy it from Europe.
U.S. or Africa or somewhere
Okay.
where they don't have GMOs.
Thank you. That was from Glenn, our organic farmer. So that's good to know. Cornflakes. This is my Olympics. Wholemeal bread. I love that. I talked about whole wheat and whole meal. Basically, it is white bread turned brown. They just color it brown from what I see.
Even whole grain.
It depends on what grains are they using, you know? If they're using the old biblical grains, quinoa, rice, millet, amaranth, things like that, have at it. If there's wheat flour in there, forget it. I say no. It's going to raise your blood sugar. Of course, white bread, white rice, anything starchy here, even brown rice, beets, raisins, bananas, especially if they're ripe, really ripe. They're really going to jack up. Now, here's the deal. There's some good nutrients that you get from a banana that's ripe. So everything's a matter of balance. Okay? If you have blood sugar issues, you're not eating really ripe bananas. That's the bottom line. Things you want to stick with: apples, This cracked me up.
Breaded fish?
Reddit.
We're not gonna even talk about that one. Butter bean, all your beans, lentils, peanuts, unless you're peanut allergy, or mold issue, because peanuts are grown down the ground, very moldy. Almonds, of course. So things like that. Those are the things you really want to stick to. Question?
Fructose, it said?
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of misinformation still out there. It's hard to find very strict, you know, eat this, don't eat that. Believe it or not. All right. So why should you care? So when you, what happens with inflammation? It's just like when you get a cut, right? Your body releases, white blood cells, and it goes after if there's any infection, okay? And they're supposed to kill that infection. Then you get a scab, and then all's hunky-dory, okay? So the organisms that enter the body, you can either breathe them in, you can ingest them, or they get through the skin, right? They're all gonna, you know, cause inflammation or not, depending on what it is. And over time, if it's an inflammatory response over and over and over again, it can cause things, again, the heart disease, the arthritis, autoimmune disorders. They're finding a lot of autoimmune disorders are basically a virus that's kind of never left. And it's attacking the whole body.
Wow.
And it all starts in your gut. So again, what are you putting in there? So we talked about this a little bit, and you know, a lot of things don't show up over time. It's not like when you get a cut on your skin and you actually see a scab, right? That's a visible sign of trauma and the response to foreign invaders and protection. What we don't realize is this stuff is going on all the time in our gut and in our intestinal tract. Okay? So we have no idea that we've got all these cytokines which are inflammatory markers being released in the body, and white blood cells going nuts, trying to kill them all. And we're just stressed out all the time. And I don't mean like up here stressed out, although that could be a problem. Internally, we're stressed out. When you see people on the street and you see really red faces, that is a person who is completely inflamed internally. It is, you know, after a while and you watch people, you see it. I see it in people in class. Take a look at some people in class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The cheeks too, or just the whole face?
Anywhere. Some people it's shade. I mean, I have actually rosacea type with my fair Irish skin, but yeah, you can tell. You can tell. They look bloated and they're red.
I'll have to look out for that.
Oh yeah.
That's interesting.
It is. The other side of that is if they're gray, right? And I don't mean gray hair.
Gray skin.
Gray skin. So they are lack of oxygen, and the body is screaming for oxygen.
You see that with Diana. Actually, you see it under her eyes.
Yes. And that's more of that's a big sign of gluten intolerance that people don't notice. Like my old supervisor went to Europe. She didn't believe me about the whole gluten thing. She goes to Europe. She's eating bread. No problems. Dark circles under her eyes go away. She comes back to the U.S. She goes, I was eating bread. Nothing's, there's no problem here. She eats bread. 2 days later, she's like, oh my God. She's like all these dark circles under her eyes. She's got intestinal issues going on. I'm not going to get graphic about that. She's like, okay, finally, after a year, Finally, she believed me.
My husband had to learn the hard way.
Well, most of us do. I mean, we're human.
Well, but you know, he gave it up.
Yeah.
He gave it up to support me and my daughter, our
Yeah.
youngest one. Then he thought he cheated, he would cheat. So he did. I'm pretty.
No, it's not pretty. And I've noticed my husband, as a matter of fact, when he cheats, you know, I pay because his snoring is outrageous. And he has sleep apnea.
Oh, now Mark's.
And when he's clean, man, he is good.
I get bumps, rashes
Do you get
Oh.
rashes?
on my belly.
Yeah.
See, he snores when he gets into gluten, is what you're saying. And then chokes at night or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I'm like waking up just enough to kick him gently, lovingly, in case you're on there, honey. So that he, so that he'll roll over or just breathe again. All right. So anyway, we were talking about this, right? So I was saying that an outside wound, outside trauma, we can see that in action. We don't know what's going on internally. So over time, right? You don't just suddenly have heart disease. You don't just suddenly have diabetes or heart attacks, right? You say sudden heart attack. That's been working its way up there for a long time. And this is when it starts to occur, right? So we're good with all these other companies, Germany, the UK, Sweden, Spain. And then, right when our earning potential goes down, our healthcare costs go skyrocketing. Because over time, we're just stressing ourselves out. We have no idea what's going on. So by the time you're 65, 70, let's look at 80, if you're lucky to make it. All right, you are looking at $30,000 a year on average for your health care. Per person. Alrighty, so let's talk about this paradigm we've been led to believe, right? Because a lie told often enough becomes the truth. I'm reading this book. Did you recommend this one to me?
Yeah.
Okay. Death by Food Pyramid. So if you're on Death by Food Pyramid, how shoddy science, sketchy politics, and shady special interests have ruined our health. And, it's not this alarm ringing kind of book. It is very factual about what happened over the years and why, for the longest time, it was 6 to 11 servings of, bread and pastas, and this was next, and this was next, and it was who could lobby the best. That's why it went down that way. And it's still going on. I know Michelle Obama, keep it up. However, at my plate, still needs some work. Right? I would like to see them be really more specific on what they mean by grains. Go back to the Bible, yeah. What's grown in the field to fatten our pigs and our cows? Right? It's doing the same thing to us. What else have we heard? Eat how many meals a day?
3.
And you'll never need to supplement. Eat your 3 square meals a day. You never need to supplement. And we'll get all of our nutrients from our food. We've all heard that one before, yes? Even doctors still say it. Meanwhile, 80% of doctors take supplements. So, their hands are kind of tied. I feel for them. There's only so much they're allowed to say. And what else? A calorie is a calorie. So I would say, 1,200 calories of Doritos are the same as 1,200 calories of fish and broccoli. That's what they're saying. A calorie is a calorie. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So, what's associated with inflammation? Different kinds of arthritis. Are you guys familiar with the different types of arthritis? Right, so we've got rheumatoid arthritis, psoriatic arthritis, and gouty arthritis, which is pretty much kind of like psoriatic arthritis. Okay, rheumatoid arthritis, chronic inflammatory affecting your joints, hands and feet particularly, and then it goes all over the body over time, hits up those joint linings, and it's like a virus. They're finding, Dr. Wallach finds that when he gets people on antibiotics and then the killer biotic and other things, that then he can start to feed the joints after he gets rid of the virus, which I find fascinating.
It's a virus, is what you're saying?
That's the success that he's been having with it.
But I thought antibiotics didn't work on viruses.
Well, and I thought antibiotics, you didn't want to take antibiotics.
However, for rheumatoid arthritis, he is all over.
It's a bug.
Yeah, all over that for like really hard for 2 weeks, right? And then start feeding the joints and a lot of Z-radical.
Or killer biotic.
And the killer biotic, after the antibiotic, the killer biotic.
What's a killer biotic?
So we have a product called Killer Biotic, which has saved me more times than I can count. It's got colostrum, mushroom extracts, beta-glucans, and these are all natural forms of antibiotics.
So.
Minocycline is the antibiotic that they should take for rheumatoid arthritis.
Okay.
I always remember minocycline.
All right. Hey, however it works, right? Whatever you have to use. Psoriatic arthritis is like psoriasis, right? So you can kind of see that on the outside of what's going on the inside, like a rash on the skin. In gouty arthritis, you see that as well. I mean, you'll see that down in people's feet, right? And gout is specifically starts in that big toe most of the time. So when you start,
I'm checking my big toe right
oh, okay. So, that's a big sign. When you start getting pain in your big toe and inflammation and things like that, that is a signal that you've got a bug that needs to get taken care of so it doesn't then travel up to the rest of your joints. Yeah.
What about osteoarthritis?
That's not a bug per se. Yeah, that is basically a depletion in the bones and joints. It still causes inflammation and pain. Let's see, other things, other types of inflammations. Again, we talked about autoimmune disorders and fibromyalgia, which is rampant.
Oh my gosh.
It is rampant. And that just is a pain in the muscle, the myalgia, pain in the muscle. That's what that means.
I feel it's tendons and ligaments too. Muscles, tendons, and ligaments.
Okay. Typically muscles, so that's what the myalgia is.
muscle.
Yeah. All right, so how can it affect your internal organs? We already talked about this. Your heart disease, blood pressure, cardiomyopathy. You can have lung diseases with inflammation. I see a lot of COPD at the hospital, and it just breaks my heart.
How is that different than asthma?
Well, asthma could eventually turn into that. There's a lot of things that over time create this COPD. So I don't know the specific difference. Yeah.
So what creates that? How do people get COPD?
There's a number of factors that are involved. It could be damage to the lung tissue, from inflammation over time. And a lot of that's just environmental toxins. Yeah. It's not necessarily a genetic thing either. So have you heard of the word epigenetics? Liz, have you ever heard of that? So, a lot of healthcare professionals will say, well, it's genetic. Or you'll hear people in class say, this is genetic. And I question, is that really coded on your genes? Or is this something that, nature versus nurture? right, is the environment you were in a way that over time, even as your cells change over, because every year we're like a new person on a cellular level, has the environment you've been in created this change in the cells versus it's coded in your DNA, right? We are all coded for a number of things, but how does it get expressed or not get expressed? Because what you are doing now will show up next year. And then again, the year after that, and the year after that, right? Are you creating an issue with cellular mutations with everything we do? Or are you feeding it so that the next version of yourself, which I love that, every year you're like a new person.
Right.
Is that new person gonna be healthier than last year or not? And then create another layer of illness the year after that. Kind of like toner in your copier, right?
Right, you know.
Are you gonna keep refilling your toner with good stuff? Or every year, are you gonna create a less dynamic version of yourself? Does that make sense? We'll come back to that in a little bit next week. All right, so we did talk about metabolic syndrome and what a huge marker that is. It's a red flag of inflammation in your body. And again, you get to choose. Is that going to be expressed next year? Or are you going to take care of it, recognize it for what it is, blow off the BS that is genetic, and then take care of it so that next year the new round of cells are happy, healthy cells. All right. Oh. So let's talk some more about some of the things. Sorry. Good food, bad food. Okay. These are anti-inflammatory foods. These are inflammatory foods that over time is going to have an issue in the body. So let's talk about the stuff to get rid of. Again, we talked about wheat, barley, rye, and oats. People say, oh, oatmeal. Oatmeal's supposed to be so good for you. It is one of the most processed grains out there. Don't know. Did you know?
Mm.
Yeah. Let's see. Anything fried, I think we can all recognize that we should not be eating fried foods. We have and I'll tell you about this great initiative we're working on at the hospital. Oil in a bottle. And people often question oil in a bottle. You can block people if they're mean.
No, this guy is like, just everything's
Jag off. So here's my question. What, you know, that's a Pittsburgh term. Don't be a jag off. So people often question, why can't I have olive oil or, you know, this kind of oil, that kind of oil? Well, here's my question back to that. How do they tell you to store your oil?
in a bottle.
In the cabinet?
In a dark, warm place.
Warm?
In the refrigerator, they make it cold.
Okay.
It should be cold.
Cold? Tightly
Out
sealed?
of sunlight.
Out of light. Okay? So you're looking at heat and oxygen. That's why you want to keep it stored that way. Is that right? And why? What happens to it if you don't store it that way?
It oxidizes. Gets back.
It goes back. It gets rancid. Gets rancid. Okay? So why are we cooking with it and exposing it to heat and oxygen?
Because it doesn't taste rancid right away.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, yeah, you don't know what's
No, you
going
can't
on.
taste it.
Mhm.
It's not like, you know, yogurt gone bad, right? I mean, after a while, you know when your oil's gone bad. I would hope.
Mhm.
Yeah. However, initially.
So you're talking all oils, because
All oils
All-
become rancid when exposed to oxygen
Exactly.
Or heat.
or heat.
Well, and
So it
whenever it
doesn't
hits
matter.
heat, it becomes carcinogenic as well, doesn't it?
Right, that's the
So
rancidity.
you're talking about
It causes-
virgin olive
Yeah,
oil.
EVOO, yeah.
Virgin.
Yeah.
Extra
You wanna
virgin.
buy a little bottle, keep it in the fridge.
All right.
That's your best bet. So.
Okay. All right.
So, that's why oil in a bottle. And
But
it's
butter's okay.
salad dressing now. Butter, yeah, butter is okay. There was a huge Time Art magazine article saying, my bad, our research was bad, butter is good.
So fry your food in butter or bacon fat.
Don't fry
food.
No fry.
I'm joking.
Well, your husband has that cooker, right? The smoker.
Yeah.
Okay. Well done red meat. That also came back out, right? After all these years, and now it's my bad. The well done red meats, all that blackened stuff, and I love my steaks well done, and I love my burgers well done. And like, oh, dang it. So I've had to learn to go medium. Medium rare, I still haven't quite discovered that one. Taste for that one. Although I'll do medium.
Tartar.
All right, so, and meat with nitrates. So, yeah, go ahead, have your hot dog, just buy nitrate-free hot dogs. Nitrate-free pepperoni, if you wish.
Lunch.
Right? Yeah. Doesn't mean you're gonna eat every day, though, hopefully. The skins of baked potatoes. Now, if you're steaming them, that's okay. It's when they also are overcooked and crunchy and brown, they also are carcinogenic.
No more,
Carcinogenic.
no more cottage fries.
Or cottage fries.
Well, just fries.
Fries with a bunch of skin on.
Oh. It just shows you what I have.
Cottage fries. I didn't know.
No more cottage fries. Sorry.
So you can't have them as long as they're just steamed, like
Yes.
the skin, you can just.
Yeah.
Now you can have a baked potato if you just eat the inside out, right? I mean, just not eat the skins.
Put butter.
Yeah,
Salt and
butter,
pepper.
salt and pepper. Mm.
Yes. As long as it's not overcooked. So you can boil them, you can steam them.
Mhm.
And of course, carbonated drinks during a meal. Not been told at all, right? Because of the phosphoric acid eating away at your bones. But during a meal, it interferes with digestion. So over time, you could create what's called leaky gut because your food's not getting digested properly and it could seep through the stomach wall. And then that becomes its own inflammation. It creates autoimmune disorders because it's a foreign body in your bloodstream.
And the body starts attacking it.
And the body starts attacking itself, exactly.
Even like soda water?
Yeah. Worst of all, even beer.
Ooh.
I'm a wine drinker.
Wine's okay.
And beer has gluten in it anyway.
There is.
All right, so what's good? Let's talk about what's good for you. Eggs. Eggs are back. Not fried, okay? Eggs are back. I know. Hard-boiled eggs. Make sure there's no green around the yolk.
So what's a good time, or amount of time to boil an egg?
Okay, so my husband had to put this on a masking tape and put it inside the cabinet. Because I kept asking him, how long do I do these, honey? And he got sick of answering me.
For a hard boiled?
Yeah. So in the water, poached eggs are fine. In the water, bring it to a rolling boil, take it off the heat, let it sit there 10, 12 minutes, and then ice water. And
Oh,
it's
so you don't let
bright
it boil the
yellow.
whole time?
What?
You don't let it boil for 12 minutes?
Yeah. When you see that dark green around the yolk, that's when the cholesterol's gone bad.
Right.
Explain that again. That's good. I had never considered that. So he puts them in, brings the water to a boil. How,
Takes it off the heat, lets
As soon as
it
it
sit with
reaches
the
the
lid
boil?
on, yeah.
and just let
Soon
it
as it boils.
Yeah.
steep.
Yep.
For
10
Can you
to
put
12
the
minutes.
eggs when it's rolling boiling? Put the eggs in.
I put them in initially.
I used to do that, but my husband, my coworker told him, you put the eggs in when they're boiling.
Yeah.
And they're you never get one that's hard to peel.
Oh.
And so
Oh,
then,
that's interesting.
so I'm wondering then if I could put it in while it's boiling and then turn it off and let them finish. Same time.
You may have to let them
You
sit
may-
longer, but.
Right, you might have to let them sit
Sit
for like 15 minutes.
Okay.
But that ice bath right afterwards is important to stop the cooking. Okay, what else? Veggies, of course. Salt, preferably Himalayan sea salt and Celtic sea salt, because you need bile. It creates bile, right, to digest your food.
What was that one, Himalayan and,
Celtic.
is that a C? C, T, I C.
They never added other salt.
Why not?
They actually put cornstarch in it.
What was it, anti-cagey?
Hmm.
Oh.
So how do you get your iodine?
Yeah, how do you get your iodine?
Must be in one of our products.
Natural
Eat,
stuff.
eat fish.
Seaweeds type?
Yeah.
I do like seaweed.
Okay,
So,
good, good, good.
And I'm sorry, what'd you say about the salts? Did they create what,
Bile
I,
and break down food.
okay, now.
Fats in particular.
Yeah, that's what the
Fats?
bile's for, breaking down fats.
oh, fats. I thought you said fats.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Them too, if they're fatty in
I
it.
don't think they're on the bad list, so you know, if you want it back. Fruits, nuts, rice and beans, especially if you're a vegetarian, you wanna have good combinations for your proteins. Meat, again, not overcooked,
And
poultry,
What's the rices again that you say are good? The quinoa?
quinoa's not a rice,
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You said
a brown rice.
just a brown rice.
If you're gonna do rice,
So not white, just brown rice, okay.
But meat, like red meat is okay, because you get proteins and enzymes in red, okay.
Yeah, there's certain amino acids that you get from animal-based proteins that you won't get from plant-based proteins.
Right, right, so meat's important.
Fish and gluten-free grains. So that's for the quinoa, the amaranth, millet, and what was that last one? Okay. So the moral of the entire story is we were created to heal. Right? We were created to move. We were created to eat plants and animals, right? And that was supposed to be everything we needed to heal. And now we're kind of in an environment where that doesn't happen. And our soils kind of suck, right? So we're not necessarily getting everything we need from our plants and our animals. So you have to supplement your body with things that will allow the next generation of cells, as you regrow, to be healthier. Or at least not to break down, right? We want to be not breaking down all the time. Not funny. I wish my brother Bob was on.
He's a little chubby too.
Little diabetes. And when I saw this reminded me of, so my brother was known as the ho-ho kid when we were growing up. All the neighbors kept ho-hos in their house. And when he would knock on the door, oh, little Bobby, you know, they give him a ho-ho.
They want to close up.
And, you know, he said that he doesn't eat ho-hos like that anymore. Well, he has a lot of stress though. And he's got some health issues, right? He's already had to have
Lots of hearts going on there.
glaucoma surgery. And this is my younger brother. And, you know, I was talking to my eye doctor and asking her what causes that. She goes, well, it's genetic. I said, no one in the family has it.
Mhm.
Well, it could be trauma. I don't think so. Unless he got kicked in the face at one point. Well, you know, I'm like, no. And what amazed me is the trauma didn't include the word stress, right? And diet, because that creates trauma in the body. That's why we have inflammation. Trauma doesn't have to be someone actually coming up and hitting you. you could be causing small little traumas in your body, and over time, it's gonna, again, show itself up, right? Gouty arthritis, psoriatic arthritis, diabetes, heart disease, glaucoma. These are all signs that, you know, the next version of you better get cleaned up. Because it's not gonna get better unless you do. All right, and that's my final slide. So, do you guys have any questions?
Somebody was asking about seasonal eating. You know, like
Oh,
eating
Yeah.
more root-based in winter,
Yep.
right? More. Yeah, anything about
More.
Do it.
leafy in the summer.
well, I mean, so you just don't have to have it transported as long, right? You're eating for what is abundant at that time. I would still say, and I forget where I learned this, that if you're eating the skin of it, do your best to get organic. If you're not gonna eat the skin and you're on a huge budget, you can kind of get away with not so much organic. And I found that interesting. Not that stuff doesn't get absorbed through the skin,
Right.
but, you know, not everybody can eat organic all the time. So yes, absolutely eat seasonal. Any other questions?
questions?
Question?
Periscope questions?
No? No?
You mentioned beans and everything was on the good list.
Mhm.
But isn't that counterintuitive because they also have a lot of high sugar too?
Depends on what you're eating and when. Absolutely.
Like if you have a bowl of beans, pinto beans.
Okay, so that's an excellent question. And to blunt that response from the pancreas, it is important to have either either and, a good lean protein first, and or a good lean fat, healthy fat, right? So avocado. So if you have a couple of bites of something like that, a fat or a protein, and bodybuilders do this all the time, right? They're not stupid. They know how to stay lean or get lean and control that insulin response, which causes us to store body fat, is protein and good fat prior to a carbohydrate.
But aren't beans also like high in protein and stuff like that? Aren't
They're not a
beans gonna-
complete protein unless they're with their quinoa, right? Beans and quinoa, complete protein.
So, well, like for example, I'm just kind of curious
Yeah,
because
go
like
ahead.
being Hispanic, we have a bowl of beans.
I had rice and beans last night.
You know, well, we sometimes don't even put of course, we put that stuff in with our beans, our bowl of beans. But I mean, generally, you know, my mom would cook a pot of beans, or I'll cook a pot of beans, and that would be dinner.
Okay,
So,
throw some sliced avocado on
so you just need something to counterbalance and help
the
out.
insulin response. It's
Oh,
all
okay.
about controlling that insulin response.
Interesting.
What about putting like, piece of pork in the beans? That pork and beans is good. Not the pork and beans, but
Right,
just,
yeah.
just like saltpeter or some kind
Like
of.
cooking it with the, like
Yeah,
cooking it,
with
like-
pig knuckles or something you cook it in.
like you put the bacon ends in
It's
with
like a
like
fat.
the beans.
It's a fat.
You're adding a fat for the flavor.
And that's
It's a
okay.
fat.
And that's okay.
So the fats, the pig knuckles, that fat stays in it?
Mhm.
Well, you don't eat it, but it like melts.
All right.
It's like a lard.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right. So that would blunt the response other than just beans or just rice.
So put a good fat into it. You
Yeah.
said.
Or avocado. It's a good fat.
Better fat would be avocado. Poor pigs. What do they walk on if they don't have their knuckles? All right, anything else about inflammation?
You just ruined my dinner for tonight.
What were you gonna have?
Homemade,
Okay.
chicken fried rice. Like Chinese, homemade Chinese food. Thanks.
I know avocados don't go with chicken fried rice, but
I have avocados, I'm putting it on there.
put it on there, eat it first.
So you're saying always have a fat with each meal probably, or
Yeah.
a healthy fat
Absolutely.
with each?
It's great for your brain and it's great for your skin. I mean, that you need to feed your nervous system as well as protect the inflammatory response from the pancreas liver cycle going on all the time.
It doesn't have to be a healthy fat, or like you're saying, like in the morning, you have bacon, could you have, I mean, what's a good fat to have if, other than avocado?
I love
Avocado,
bacon,
avocado.
so, but I don't eat it every day,
Yeah, I don't eat
right?
bacon.
It's like, well, once a month I'll have some bacon.
Butter is a fat
So,
though, too, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
cook with some butter.
Butter,
okay,
organic butter.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
What about dairy? I don't think you mentioned dairy.
Butter.
Oh, well, true.
What are
okay.
more of the healthy fats?
Yeah, other than.
So all your fishes, avocado, but grass-fed butter, those are your biggies. And of course, you're not frying any of it.
Those,
Durian fruit in there.
Yeah, that one's like, what?
Durian fruit, red durian fruit.
No, what is that?
It's that spiny looking one that everybody gets scared of. That's gonna smell like.
oh yeah, like a
Um,
sea urchin.
Right.
Durian, is that how you pronounce it? I haven't had that.
It's a fat.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool.
A fat
Durian fruit. I like it.
It looks like that football, just with all these little spines all over it.
Have you heard of Ezekiel?
Peanut butter.
Of course I've heard of
Is
these.
that good to have?
That turns to sugar as soon as it hits your tongue.
The question is, peanut butter good or bad?
And I love peanut butter, whoever asked that. And I had to give it up.
Almond butter is better.
Almond butter is definitely better. Cashew butter is definitely better.
Explain the peanut butter.
And that is because peanuts are grown in a moldy environment. And it creates this thing called aflatoxin, and that's where a lot of people get their peanut allergies. So if you have to have some kind of nut butter, that's why. It's the aflatoxins. Yeah. And it's more of a fat than a protein. I always have to remind people of that. And it's sad, because I love peanut butter. And it's sad. We're doing a 100-day thing at the hospital. I gave up peanut butter.
What's 100 days? You're giving up a bunch of.
We're just picking something to do. Like a colleague of mine writes something on the board. There, it's like a whiteboard calendar he has at home with his wife, and every day he writes something that he loves about his wife or his fiance. So I'm giving up peanut butter. Any more questions coming in?
What's a good snack in between? Should you like the afternoon? I
10 almonds and an apple.
You can't do almonds. What about hummus? Is hummus good?
Yeah. Homemade is better,
I
of
think
course.
homemade
Yeah.
with water instead of oil.
Hummus is excellent.
You use tahini.
I do use tahini. So is that a seed fat?
Tahini, yeah.
Okay.
Sesame seed, right?
Sesame
That's what it
seed.
is, yeah. Yeah. All right. Any other questions?
Yeah, one more.
Yeah.
How many ounces of water should you be drinking daily? So
You know what?
what's the average?
They're up and down on that all the time. You know, the rule of thumb is if you feel thirsty, you've waited too long. And if you can't keep your balance, you've definitely waited too long, because slight dehydration will compromise your balance immediately.
But a good rule of thumb,
Half your body.
half your body weight in ounces of water.
Yeah.
Not including exercise.
Not including exercise.
If you're exercising,
Yeah.
drink more. And if you drink a lot of coffee, drink more.
Yeah. So every cup of coffee, have a cup of water. Really. Just like if you're not drinking. For every drink, you have some water, right? And if you're sweating, you need more than just, some of the shelf brand sports drinks. Because you don't just sweat out potassium and sodium, you're sweating out about 20 minerals and protein and fatty acids. So you need more than just what they're selling you on the shelves if you're working out.
That rebound then do the trick.
Absolutely. It's got all of that in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then one more question. You were talking about inflammation.
All right, you're done. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
You talked about, like, would a cleanse work for the inflammation? Like,
Absolutely.
my knees, lately, I feel it, and it's just been really bothering me, and I know that's part of it. So you talked about a certain.
So the nice thing about a cleanse is it gives your intestinal tract a break and takes some inflammation out of the cell, down to the cell level. And I really like, because it does work down to the cell level, that the Suero Gold, the Suero V. I prefer the flavor of the Suero Gold. It's a fermented whey beverage. So fermented foods are amazing for reducing inflammation in the body. Even a shot, even if you dilute it. I'll never forget the first time I did a shot of apple cider vinegar, because pharmacist Ben's like, oh yeah, I do one every day. Oh, heck no. I took one shot and I'm laying it on the kitchen counter and I'm like,
I thought you weren't supposed to take it straight. I thought you had to dilute it.
you don't have to dilute it.
Really?
Yeah.
And funny that you mentioned it, because I actually drank some this morning.
Good for you.
Well, I have like majorly bad heartburn. Last night, really bad. I know that helps balance things out.
It does.
Is that something you should have?
enzyme.
Is that or like?
I know he takes it daily, if not 3 times a day sometimes.
Every meal,
Yeah, every meal.
Really?
Yeah, it helps with digestion.
Is there a certain flavor or brand that's better than another?
You want to get organic.
What's Bragg's?
Yeah, Bragg's is awesome.
No carb diet for diabetics.
Here's what I'm going to tell you to do. Whoever asked that question, on YouTube, Dr. Sarah Halberg, Hallberg. So she is a type 2 diabetes doctor, and she has done remarkable things with her patients, getting them completely off their meds. And it depends on what you mean by carbs, because vegetables are carbs, right? Fruit is a carb. Beans are carbs. So you have to watch if you're not losing weight and your goal is to lose weight. Stop it. Don't take them.
Stop
Right? Stop
Carbs.
the
Oh,
simple carbs. Yeah. If your goal is to lose weight or reduce inflammation, and you're doing that and it's not working, that's the next thing you gotta look at, eliminate. Right? I mean, it's just sort of a trial and error thing. So why would you do a no carb diet? What's the goal? Whoever's asked that question. If you're still watching.
So if you're not losing weight, then you need to eliminate some of the carbs she was talking about to see.
Start with all the simple ones.
And simple ones are like your grains and stuff like that.
Grains, any cereal, any pasta, white potatoes, anything white basically, gotta go.
To lower blood sugars.
Oh yeah, yeah. So simple carbs out. If your blood sugar
Carbs
having
is sugar,
issues.
right? I mean, carbs.
Sugar
will
is a
convert-
carb. Yeah,
Yeah, but carbs will convert to sugar in the body.
very quickly. Yeah, the simple ones very quickly. At least with your vegetable carbs, they're fibrous, most of them, and they take longer to digest.
But fruit is sugar too. So
It is, and it depends on what you eat. If you're going after a banana, your blood sugar is gonna jump.
So don't put in your smoothie in the morning.
Depends on what else you put in your smoothie.
Okay, well, this morning I did spinach, the banana, I did do some protein powder
Okay,
and a few strawberries and water.
okay. Throw in some chia seeds or flax seeds or, Yeah. or, you know, Udo's choice oil,
Or yogurt.
depending on the yogurt, yeah.
Are alcohols a carb?
Yes.
Are they made out of sugars?
Wait. Yes. Alcohol is a carb, very simple carb. Yeah. I'm sorry. All right.
I feel your pain.
Okay. I think we're good. We went a little over. Thank you for coming. I hope you got something. And it may have actually caused you to get more questions later, so you can email me at trainingxtrish@gmail.com if you have any questions, or hit me up, find me on Twitter, Training by Trish.
Lots of hearts going out to you.
Oh, yay.
What's your
Thanks for
email?
watching. Training X Trish. Gmail.com.
Swipe down to stop. Okay. So swipe down.
All done. Bye. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
I messed that up in the middle.